question off the book, and we'll get right back to the book. Because you've been, on the stage, you sang even on The Morning Blend. You've been in Doctor Who. That was so popular. Popular that then you did Torchwood, a spin-off.
Sorry, slight correction there. It wasn't because Doctor Who was so popular, it's because Captain Jack.
Then Desperate Housewives, you caught the attention of
Mark Cherry.
Yes, which is pretty cool. And I heard you were very excited when you got the call.
Totally excited.
You were like freaking out, right?
Well, first of all, it was I was in a restaurant and I was doing a thing for a big children's charity in Britain. And I was traveling across America with a fellow presenter in the UK, and Mark Cherry wanted to have breakfast with me, and I went to have breakfast, and in LA, as you know with the meetings that we've had and stuff, you go to breakfast sometimes, and it's a lot of blah, 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 and we love you, love you, love you, and then you go away and you never hear anything about it again.
Happens.
No.
That happens at my dinner table all the time. Kevin just sits and goes, blah, blah.
Good with you and blah, blah, blah. That's like Scott. Scott, remember the other day we were talking to Scott? I think Scott hears us like Charlie Brown characters. Because we talk to him for like hours and then he goes, huh? And I'm like, what do we sound like? He goes,
Well, did he ever get a word in edgewise?
No.
Anyway, so back to Mark Cherry. Mark Cherry was, he then called a half an hour later because scheduling-wise, I couldn't do it. So he called a half an hour later and he said, I don't care. He said, I'm going to write a character for you. You're going to do it when you can. And the thing that we had to do in that one was we had to tell them they had to kill me.
Oh, because it was only for a limited time.
Well, yeah, because I had to go to Torchwood.
They had to schedule you in for that.
They had to schedule me in for that. So it was written in right from the beginning that I was going to be blown up in a Prius.
Which I love.
What about you were kind of a creepy ex-boyfriend, Was that okay with you to play?
No, I was a husband.
Oh, creepy ex-husband.
I was her husband, and I was creepy to my... Anyway, my son and my wife, and I wanted to murder them.
Yeah, did you like playing a creepy character?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it was awesome.
With that being said, and now in Arrow.
Yep. I don't answer any favorite kind of questions because what's really great is, again, with Arrow, they came to me and we were all in, Scott and I were in Palm Springs, and I got a phone call from the producers and the writer and the creator of Arrow, and they said, we love you in Doctor Who and Torchwood, we really want you on Arrow. What would it take? And they explained the whole role to me, and they were saying about how it's a new show, and they probably, and they said this, they said, we probably can't afford you, and blah, 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 blah. And by the end of the conversation, they said, what do you think? And I said, well, to be honest with you, because you've spoken about it passionately, I am totally interested, because when someone else has the passion for what they do, if everybody who's doing it, like when you're writing a book, if you are passionate about that, then it's going to work out. Something's going to come out of it that is good.
John, I saw this Brussels sword tapping, and oh my God, it was so lovely. I just loved it. It was so awesome.
She's passionate about handbags.
I just loved it.
So that was how that all came about. And so I said, yeah, I'll do it. And it's nice to be asked to do those things. And what I love about this show at the moment is it's starting very small, the role, and as each week goes on, it's just going to get more and more. And I can't say much more about it, but I know who I am, I know who I become, and I know what happens, and I know how important I am.
That's a teaser, and I know all those things too.
I know you do, because I told her. And she's not telling any of you, so don't try to get them out of her. And wine will not work.
I always wonder with a book like Hollow Earth, if because I know there's going to be another in the series that's not going to be out until 2013, right?
It's going to be the UK version will be out in February, and Simon and Schuster have already bought the second one as well, and they'll put out it's called Bone Quill, and I literally finished the writing of it a week ago, and it'll be out. I imagine it'll be out a year from now.
So when you write a book like this, is it later that you say there's going to be another book and another? Like, I wonder about the, Harry Potter's and the Twilight and do they write those?
All right. No, she's making a little comparison. She's not saying we're like them. Don't be booing her. Molly's my friend. what you mean.
Yes, actually, when
Call me out here.
Get her out of the hole is what she's saying.
I'm helping you out. Yes, we did, very much so. When one of the things that we do together is we try to plot out all of the big things that are going to happen. And we actually plotted out so much on that sugar rush high on that 2-hour drive that we realized we had 3 books. And so we decided this is the big thing that's going to happen in the first book.
Yeah.
And this book sort of sets everything up. There's lots of monsters and beasts, and it's pretty scary. And if you look on the back cover, I don't know if you've got your book, the back cover has a little hint at the one of the real bad characters that's in it.
Seriously, you're going to have to sleep with your light on.
Yeah.
It is pretty scary. And then, so we had it plotted up for 3 at that point.
And then you'll stop at 3. And do they grow up? Do Matt and Em grow up, or are they always 12?
Well, they're going to stay within the same
age.
Yeah.
Go through puberty? No.
They're kind of starting puberty in a way.
That's why their emotions are a bit all over the place sometimes.
Yes.
Okay.
But the one thing, I mean, I will say with that, and the 3 books and the sequence of them, it's not, it may not end after 3 if people, if they want more, if we can continue with it, that's great. But after all that plotting and everything that has been done, for the books, Carole goes away and takes all that. I am not gifted in the way of writing. That's not my bad. Carole goes away and she does the creation and puts everything into word form. And I don't bother her while she is doing that. She has
actually, he bothers me a little bit.
Tiny bit.
Every now and then.
But see, what I don't get is you read how many books a week, would you say?
About 5 or 6.
Isn't that amazing? I mean,
I've got college in my English department. Is Mimi here?
Yes,
How many do you read a week?
7 or 8.
See? She's a girl. She does about 7. So it's not that unusual, but And
how do you have time to write? And do you sleep also?
She's
or no?
not human. I am actually a time traveler, and she's an automaton.
I ignore my husband a lot, for sure.
Yeah.
And to be honest, my kids don't live at home anymore. We kicked them out when they were about 7. That has made a huge difference. I would not be doing this in 20 years ago. I've always been writing. I've always been a writer. I've written for newspapers and essays and all those good things. But I don't think I could have fleshed out a book in quite the same way if my kids were still. I wouldn't have wanted to do it. I had other things I wanted to do with them. So that makes a huge difference. But I'm a very disciplined writer. I write every day, even if it's only for 15 or 20 minutes.
Morning, night?
It depends. It depends on my class schedule. And then I have, the nice thing about having weekend college and a weekend college program here is that I always have a couple of days during the week that I stay home. And usually Mondays and Wednesdays are my writing days. I won't do anything that is not related to whatever I'm working on. I don't do laundry, I don't do anything. Well, actually I don't do that stuff anyway.
You never have. Haven't.
No, I do not. I don't do laundry. And so Kevin does all our laundry. He's a great guy.
That's awesome.
So I am very disciplined. I write, every day, and then I just have the best job because I have a job where words and books are what I do here, and the teaching and my students give me great inspiration too.
Well, I wondered, a lot of authors want to quit their day job to do that full time. Do you see yourself quitting teaching to do something like this full time?
I cannot see myself quitting teaching to do this full time. I wouldn't maybe mind, having a little more time to write more, but I think I'd miss that interaction. I'd miss someone laughing regularly at my stupid jokes.
You guys laugh at her? In the house we just did. In the house we're like, funny. Next.
Right. So this is what's next for you. Bone Quill is next. It's coming out next year.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you already have the 3rd book? Because you talked about that idea.
Yes.
Is that already
done.
written in your
We
head?
know the ending.
Wow.
We have the ending. It's the one thing we did actually flesh out before. We know what the big battle is going to be in the 3rd book.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because a lot of people say it happens as you go.
Yeah, no, but during that time,
Things
might change because when Carole goes away and takes all the information and puts it together and works through those sugar high moments that we put down, she then might call me, like for instance, during Hall of Worth, she rang me up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was one of those, hello?
Because he's in London, it's 2 o'clock.
And she said, listen, Zach's got to take a boat. He's got to take a boat. And I'm like, well, why are you calling me at 2 o'clock in the morning? Just put him in a boat.
As many of you who write know that sometimes when you are in that moment, your characters can take over and they do things that you really don't plan. The book opens with a scene in the Middle Ages because it goes back and forth between the Middle Ages and the period when monks are illustrating manuscripts and so on, and present day time. And the character in the very first pages of the book was not meant to survive after maybe the 3rd chapter. And he wouldn't go away. He wouldn't go away. He just kept coming back into my head. And so I said to John, I think we're going to have to keep Solon. And in the second book, Solon is a major character. And that was not an intention of ours at all when we started.
Are you going to read?
Do you want us to read
I love
something?
that.
Would you like us to read something?